My name is Claire Downes Whitehurst, and I'm a 2026 artist resident at the Sam and Adele Golden Foundation for the Arts. I started as a realistic painter. I've been reading a lot about and thinking a lot about abstraction, what's left behind when you take the object out. But I kind of became more and more seduced by the texture, the atmosphere behind things. The lines for me are a reference to the landscape, and the lines are also a reference to the hand, like a thumbprint or like a tree ring. I think I'm really attracted to these lines that accrue and create this visual texture. Both my parents are scientists, so I spent a lot of time in laboratories as a little girl and looking at patterns up close, really, really up close. And so I think my work is about the tension between the same thing. Like, how can one thing be two things? And there's dozens of examples of meditative practice that just involve a line. I think it's an avenue of escape for me in my work where I can introduce texture and color and eventually build into where some kind of image is formed. The butterfly shows up a lot for me. One of the first drawings I ever did as a child was of a butterfly. It speaks to that duality. It also speaks to transformation and reconfiguration, a complete destruction and then a complete renewal. It makes just logical sense to me when I'm trying to speak of two things, how a fold is witnessed. And when I think of it as almost like my own body is the form, and I'm just replicating these parts of my own body. I want to touch the material, I want to smell it, I want to feel it. I think painting came to me through touch, and so did clay. And I like the intersection where they're similar, and then I love the divergence, how they're completely apart. So that's always been this kind of push and pull. So this is the little staging area. This is kind of where the characters assemble themselves. So I cut these pieces of plastic that have paintings on them. This is one that's nice. Sometimes you gotta cut the edge loose. Metaphorically. Just kidding. See, because that's really nice too. I think they would really be really beautiful, kind of displayed behind light. It just feels very modular, it's like Photoshop in my hands. There's something that happens when I build it backwards. It's a negotiation of orientation. You make a mark, you flip it over, and then you respond to it again. So it's more of a conversation with myself of, again, like making a problem, to be like, oh, I didn't think it would look like that. Now what do we do? I think my color comes from the natural world, even though it's very saturated and pigmented and seems like it lives in another realm. I'll use a color and I'll think, what relationship does this color have to this one? Or what am I thinking about in that moment or wanting to express or insinuate, and what would that color look like? So it's a very conversational practice with color. And I like when I can kind of lose myself in the image and lose myself in the color.
My name is Lisa Williamson, and I'm a 2026 artist resident at the Sam and Adele Golden Foundation for the Arts. I am a painter who is trying to sculpt, which makes it really messy and fun and clumsy. But I really like to work with the materials, and it's almost like getting to know the paint on a different level. I'm not just using brushes, I'm using my hands, which I love. So I sculpted this with chicken wire first, and then I brought plaster wrap because I'm just kind of obsessed with creating these sculptural things with the skins and embedding wire into it. But I really like how they hold the shape. Wasn't really concentrating on having something successful. I'm intentionally trying to how far will it go before it collapses or before it's not doing what I want. So I keep everything. all my mistakes so that I can reincorporate it back into my work at some point. My process starts in my sketchbook with very representational, tight drawings, usually some watercolors, color pencil, and then from there I take shapes and abstract them further to try to loosen them up and move away from something identifiable. I think it kind of goes back to my childhood, just observation, sitting still, close looking, trying to figure something out from the inside out. I don't plan a whole lot of my work ahead of time, but I choreograph movements. I have shapes, and so I want to make sure that I've got all my tools in my toolbox out so that I can just grab and work intuitively. I prefer to work large. I have a lower energy part of my practice, part of my day, where I want to sit and just work slowly, deliberately, very quiet. And then I've got a part of my practice where I just turn on my dance music and then just play. It's all that like early 2000s techno. I'm working a lot with gravity. How hard can I throw the paint? How far can I throw it? How high up can I drop it? What is it gonna do in this product when I like on the top of the ladder? I was a professional dancer, a cheerleader. And so working big feels like I'm going right back to what I loved. I think if I didn't do art, it would have been dance. And so there's a way for me to merge the two. I think that for a lot of artists, there comes a point when we're working on a piece where we think we know where it's going, and then something happens and things go sideways and it's got to get really ugly for several hours or days. So that exciting part for me is getting lost and then finding it again. That's my addiction, finding the trail again. That quote that I love by that master gardener who said, "You have to grow it to know it," which means that you may be killing a lot of plants in the process, and that's what I'm doing, trying to push myself to fail mindfully.
My name is Jacob Todd Broussard, and I am a 2026 artist resident at the Sam and Adele Golden Foundation for the Arts. A lot of my process starts by collecting different memorabilia. What's gonna engage my curiosity? And a lot of it is like looking at images, going out, collecting things. You know, I like to go to old thrift stores, find old books. In those spaces, I find a lot of these sources that have a particular patina that I'm interested in, an aged quality. It's like one thing to have it all up here, but to have it like literally laid out and on the wall or whatever, the painting is able to absorb those things. I want the painting to be the sponge for that. Have it readily available when it can like impart itself onto the work. I'm really interested in collage as a means of smashing together different time periods through an image and how that can inform painting and how a painting can hold different timescales within it. The skins are really fun to do that. When I laid down some crackle, laid down a skin, painted it, sanded it, add a pastel ground, you know, it's just all of these different ways to sort of destabilize like what is a ground in a painting, which is a very different way of working. And I'm interested in that and how that can disrupt color, mark making. There's something about circulation that I'm interested in, like how this material was like circulated at a very specific time. You know, almost like imagining the eyes or like the viewer of someone seeing this material. I'm always thinking about time and how time functions in painting, which is very different than how it functions in other mediums. You know, you can look at one part of a painting, but then it's like a different temporality when you look at that part in relation to the whole thing. Why I'm interested in these artists that are dead, because we only have a particular amount of time on this earth. And as a maker, how do I collaborate with them even though they're gone? I can do that through their art. It's like a means of me being able to access their mind a little bit and have a conversation with it. Forrest Best was making art really on the periphery, and almost imagining or like thinking about him encountering this material and what does it mean for me to engage with it? What does it mean for me to like look at what he was looking, basically? And like, can I sort of conjure him through a painting or through a drawing by like retoggling his eyes through my eyes? How do I honor him? By holding him in my heart while I work and my life. And thinking about that baton, you know, that baton being handed off and hoping that someone comes along and grabs it. The process of making art is so precious because it's like, it will come to an end. I will be gone. And there's a grief in that, but there's also love in that as well. But I'm interested in how love gets transformed over time, and I feel transformed by that. So I think it gets absorbed into the painting, you know, whether I wanted it to or not, it's there, so, yeah.